day 3 of sourdough bake. I just want to remind everybody where we are in the process. Day 1, as you recall, we got Ivanka out of the refrigerator. We gave her a good feeding so that she's up and ready and bubbly and ready to go. On day 2, we did our mixing of the dough with the starter, and we did our series of stretch and folds, and then we took our dough and put it in the refrigerator for bulk proof overnight. You notice that we had our shower cap on. And on day 3, we're going to do the actual baking. I know everybody's so excited. We got the Dutch oven and the oven warming up. Today we're going to take the dough, we're going to do our pre-shaping, our final shaping, then we're going to do our time in the freezer in the Banneton. It's going to be about a half an hour, and then we'll do our scoring and baking. So let's get right to it. Now yesterday, as you recall, when we had the dough out on the silicone mat, we were only using water. Today for the pre-shaping and final shaping, we're going to use a little bit of flour as we do. So take the bread flour, sit out, just a little bit. See, our dough is looking very good. We'll apply a little bit of flour to the top. Now, when you're doing your shaping and your pre-shaping, you want to be very gentle with the dough. We're trying to create some air pockets within the dough. We'll just gently stretch it out and do some very gentle folds. 1/3 in, over against itself. We'll rotate. Do another set. Now we'll use our dough scraper. The point of the shaping is we want to create across the surface of the dough, we want to create a nice firm skin. That will give us our oven spring and our ear, as we say, that we're always looking for in sourdough. So I'm working the flour in from the bottom with the dough scraper. And now I'll take the dough scraper and pull towards me, over to the side, push away from me, forward, towards, rotate, away. Well, this time we're building up strength and tension on the outside of the dough. You may notice as we're doing this, we're getting a few bubbles along the side. That's good. We'll just go ahead and pop those. Work a little bit with our hand here, trying to get the shape. I'm going to work a little bit more. You don't have to do this too. This is pre-shaping. We're going to do this whole process again in about a half an hour. See the bubble right there? Another one down here. That's a good sign. It just shows the starter and dough is very active. And again, we didn't apply too much flour, just enough to make the dough easily workable. Work on a little bit more tension. And that's going to be it for our pre-shape. That's it. We're going to give the dough 30 minutes to rest, give the chance to the gluten to relax a little bit, surface tension to build up on the outside, and then we'll be back for our final shaping, time in the freezer, scoring, and baking. We'll cover and be back in 30 minutes. Okay, our 30-minute pre-shape resting period is over. Let's see how we're doing. Very good. Now, this is very important, final shaping. Again, we're going to use just a little bit of flour around the outside. And we'll use the same shaping technique that we did for the pre-shape. cutting our flour in from the bottom. Now we'll work on developing that tension, pulling the dough towards and pushing away, trying to keep it in this round brulee shape. Looking very good. Bubble here. Getting pretty close. Very important. We're going to drop her in the banneton here, but before we do, we're going to give the banneton a generous coating of rice flour. Now you may be asking yourself, why use rice flour and not bread flour or any other kind of flour? Well, rice flour contains no gluten, so the dough won't stick to the banneton at all. So if at all possible, try to find yourself some rice flour online. It's kind of difficult to find it in stores sometimes. But again, we're going to try to get as much of this as we can in the grooves in the banneton and on the bottom, because we do not want the dough to stick when we turn it out after freezing. This excess rice flour we will brush off before we put it in for baking. So, final shape. Now we're going to quickly and eloquently flip the dough ball in, put the top of the dough on the bottom of the banneton, drop it right in there. All right, how exciting. Grab the old shower cap. Now, we're going to go into the freezer for about 20 to 30 minutes just to give the dough skin a chance to firm up, because when we take it out, we're going to do our scoring and baking. And the scoring process will be a lot better if the dough's a little bit firmer. So we'll be back with you in about 30 minutes after we come out of the freezer. Okay, we're going to move pretty quickly now. We've had the Dutch oven preheating at 500 degrees for about an hour. It's extremely hot. So is the lid. We have our parchment paper that's been cut to fit the dough. The parchment has two reasons. One is keep the dough from sticking on the bottom of the Dutch oven, and also will provide you a mechanism by which you can put the dough in and take it out. So here's my dough that's been in the freezer for about 30 minutes. As you can see, there's no sticking because I used the rice flour. Nice little design. I'm going to take my brush, that excess rice flour off, with my lame or lame. I'm going to do my scoring. Now folks, this takes a lot of practice. You just have to keep practicing. What I'm going to do is make one smooth, firm stroke around the outside, one half of the outside of the dough at a 45-degree angle, not a 90-degree angle, but a 45-degree angle. Here we go. Looks good. Quickly into the Dutch oven. Very hot. The process now is we're going to go in covered on the Dutch oven, 500 degrees for 20 minutes. I'm going to remove the lid, bake for another 20 minutes, reduce the temperature to 425. I'm also going to put several ice cubes on a hot pan that I have in the oven to create a little bit of steam. So, Now it's time to bake. Here we are, we're out of the oven, 500 degrees, covered 20 minutes, 425 for 20 minutes. Let's see how we did. This is very hot, be careful. I wish you all could be here to smell this. Nice crispy crunch on the outside. A little ear. Very important. Check the temperature. We're looking for 200 degrees. Perfect. I hope you enjoyed today's show. Wish you were here to share some of this with me. But speaking of sharing, it's the all-important time of the show where we can share some of the things we bake here at Thistle Place. Today, I'm trying a cranberry peach conserve on a sesame flatbread. Let's try it. That's really good. That's really good. Well, thanks for tuning in today. And remember, leave your comments and questions on the channel page. If you have any questions at all about the process, want more information, you may be wondering about getting a crumb shot, the inside. We'll let this cool down for a good 2 hours before we cut into it. Until next time, folks, thanks for joining me today. Looking forward to it. And remember, may all your loaves rise and all your jars seal. See you next time.